Thanks so much for staying with us, everybody. Ocean Springs is looking for more business, and that was basically the message from Mayor Connie Moran in the progress report she unveiled this week. Mayor Moran is right here right now to outline her plan to bring more business to the city. Thank you, Mayor, for being with us this weekend.
My pleasure.
Always good to have you. I hold in my hand your actual inaugural speech from July 1st, kicking off your third term as Mayor of Ocean Springs. And one thing you have is you have 5 longtime aldermen returning, 2 new faces serving on the board. Do you think there's a good chemistry there in Ocean Springs? Are you happy with kind of the political landscape and where you are, where the board is in terms of determining the future of the city?
Absolutely. Even before the election, we had an economic development strategic planning session, outlined our goals, our vision for the next 4 years. We do welcome a new member to the board. Bobby Cox is returning as Alderman at Large. He was elected a year and a half ago. So we all know each other very well. If we keep focused on these goals for economic development and some other infrastructure projects, then we'll be happy.
Well, let's start with economic development because you stressed that at your, what was that, breakfast with the mayor? Is that what that event was
Yes,
earlier
with the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, with the Chamber. And when you look at Ocean Springs and you look at the possibilities and the potential, and I don't know how much you can tell us because a lot of them may be secret negotiations for all I know, but what do you have cooking?
Well, we have a $17 million expansion with Singing River Hospital System right now in Ocean Springs. That's ongoing. We're expecting breaking ground next month with Bay Village project. That's a $10 million mixed-use project. We're looking at a major redevelopment in downtown Ocean Springs, so that is a confidential project. And to that effect, we will probably establish a redevelopment authority. The board has already expanded our geographical central business district to add our tax abatement incentive program to new and expanding businesses going in on that area. And we're looking at a Healthcare Zone Act area to take advantage of the new legislation that the legislature has passed.
Is the governor cooperating with you on that? Because every time I talk to the governor, he talks big about that healthcare zone. Is he being cooperative? Have you
absolutely.
met with him in regard to that?
He's well aware that Ocean Springs is interested in that. We think we're well poised to attract new healthcare related businesses, clinics, research, medical instrument manufacturing, acute care centers. It's a very broad program.
Now, I said we'd talk infrastructure, and I'm going to pick one particular project that I guess can slide into the infrastructure category. Let's go down to the harbor. Do you mind?
Sure.
The Ocean Springs Harbor. What do you see down there? Because there's been, a lot of debate over what people want in terms of public versus private, in terms of access, in terms of commercial development, and things like that. What do you see down there?
Well, we actually had this week a meeting with county supervisors, the administrator, DMR Director Jamie Miller and his staff, members of U.S. Fish and Wildlife. Right now, currently, there are several projects going on simultaneously. The county is finishing their bulkhead improvement project. They have new lighting that will be installed, and the city has about $800,000 worth of Tidelands funding for the south portion of Harbor Road. For new boat ramps, finger piers. The question was what's going to happen when the boat storage building comes down, and because that was purchased with CAP funding.
What is going to happen? Oh, CAP funding. So what you're talking about is that may be tied up in the DMR investigation?
Well, that's being investigated right now.
Yeah.
That's clear, but DMR assures us that it will be coming down, and their vision for that was green space. The Harbor Commission, of course, has an interest for boat trailer parking, so we have asked U.S. Fish and Wildlife to consider that with pervious parking material, not asphalt parking lot. But of course, if you take down a boat storage with 168 parking spaces in it, you create a problem for congestion. So parking is going to be at a premium.
Yeah. Well, every time, and I go Government Street. Every time I go to Government Street, it seems like 3 or 4 new businesses have opened, and I can understand how parking is an issue to residents down there, especially who are saying, wait a second, we're losing the beautiful charm that we used to have down here because of all of the traffic and all of the clubs and all of the restaurants and all of the businesses. That's really a tight wire act that you
Well, we used to also have 40% vacant storefronts.
And where are you now, would you
1%.
say? 1%. From 40% to 1%.
Correct.
And that's on the tax rolls, and that's
That
good
is.
stuff.
And we have also built another 140 parking places, striping the spaces, and also building the parking lots a block off. So we understand it. It's a good problem to have. We're glad we have a nice, robust, vibrant economy in our commercial business district, not just downtown, but all along Highway 90.
Yeah, Highway 90, I always scratch my head in Ocean Springs because it seems like it's a little bit of culture shock. You go from downtown, where you have this kind of seaside charm, if you will, and then you get to Highway 90 and it looks like you could be Highway 90 in almost any city on the coast. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Well, it's true when you have some chain stores and maybe a couple of vacant, larger, big boxes. But we're working with that and with our colleagues at Mississippi Development Authority to bring in new prospects for that. Plus, as you know, MDOT plans to 6-lane Highway 90.
MDOT's been singing the blues on money lately, though. Has this already been appropriated?
Yes, this is a project. They're already surveying the right-of-way, and they've already hired the design engineering firm.
Okay.
So we're looking at making a boulevard to upgrade the aesthetics that you're complaining about, Dave.
I wasn't complaining. I don't live in Ocean Springs. I love going over to Ocean Springs.
I'm glad to hear it.
And
we
I
appreciate the tax dollars.
And I like the urbanist feeling, the urbanism in downtown Ocean Springs. I'd like to see more of that along the Mississippi coast. We're almost out of time, so very quickly, annexation, Highway 57. Do you anticipate any battles? Is Gaucher involved in any of these battles, by the way?
No, we already have an agreement with Gaucher that they would not object, as well with one of the volunteer county fire departments that they would not object. So we have to revisit that, of course, recalculate the figures, the estimates of the revenue and the expenses. It's been several years since we worked on that, but certainly that is a vision for the future, and it's something that the board will be tackling.
And correct me if I'm wrong, that's a rather small parcel all told, isn't it? Just over 5 acres or something like that? What is it?
No, it is more than that. There's some south of Highway 90 down to Graveline Bayou, and of course with the new high school. Our brand new sports complex is not even in the city limits, and neither is the high school.
By the way, if you haven't seen the new Ocean Springs High School, it's worth a drive over there to Ocean Springs, even though I think it's technically almost in Gaucher, isn't it?
No.
Seems like
Plus,
it.
our sports complex is hosting the big baseball tournament, the USSSA baseball tournament this weekend.
USSA, I think.
USSA,
Okay.
yes, thank you.
Okay, all righty. Mayor Connie Moran from Ocean Springs, thanks for driving over and being with us.
Thank you
and
very
good luck
much.
to you on your 3rd term.
Appreciate that.
When we come